This episode is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. It's a special thing to be a member of Navy Federal because they are a member-owned, not-for-profit credit union that invests in its members with amazing rates and low fees. That's why members could earn and save more every year. Plus, they serve all branches of the armed forces, veterans, and their families. So if you're interested in becoming a member, learn more at NavyFederal.org. At Navy Federal Credit Union, our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Shopping for humans is hard. Shopping for your dog is easy, thanks to Bark. Every month, we deliver toys and treats just for your dog. Whether it's fun plush or tough toys for heavy chewers, we spoil all the dogs. Subscribe now and get a free upgrade at barkbox.com/iHeart.
Episode 306, Frugal Friends Summer Book Club, 4 personal finance reads.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are bringing you 4 books to pack in your suitcase or into your Kindle or into your library audiobook app.
Ooh, so many options.
For the summer.
Wow.
Summer,
so if you like to read, here's your books.
Yes.
If you don't like to read, you're probably not listening to this episode.
But maybe you'll get an audiobook. Audiobooks are,
that's so
are
true.
like the podcasts of the book industry. And I love them.
Yeah. And they're so available. So many books are
Yes.
into audiobooks now, which is great.
And again, we'll be using our patented technology for choosing book club books. So
You know the one.
sit back, relax, and let us fill your ears with some soothing book recommendations.
But first, this episode is brought to you by Frugal Girl Summer. This year, it's all about last year's swimsuit, attending potlucks and free events, and not worrying about the latest fads and diets, because who has time for that? It's a Frugal Girl Summer, where we don't worry about being hot as long as we have ice cubes in the cooler we got from the thrift store and cold water in our reusable spray bottles to cool us down. Speaking of being cool, life insurance is cool. And if you need some assurance that your family, friends, and loved ones can keep enjoying their summers long after you're gone, then check out Ladder and their affordable life insurance plans at frugalfriendspodcast.com/ladder. They actually do have really affordable life insurance
They
plans.
do. They don't pay us to say this.
No.
We do. You do support the show at no extra cost to you if you sign up through our link, but genuinely,
They're
They
great.
are
They
our
have
favorite.
like plans starting at $5 a month,
Yeah.
which supports that frugal girl summer. We're all aimed at.
This year is all about last year's swimsuit. That's probably my favorite
Did that
line.
get you?
Yeah, that got me. All right. So if you love books, if you are on Bookstagram, if you are on Book Talk, then this is just another one in our Frugal Friends Book Club series. So we've also got episode 267. That was our New Year book club. 235 was our fall book club. And we do read some of these in our Frugal Friends Club, our private membership. You can check that out at frugalfriendspodcast.com/club. I know that Brittany hosts once a month or every other month some book club meetings using these books. So if we go through these and these sound interesting to you, then check out the club and read it with some other Frugal Friends listeners.
That always enriches the reading of something or the listening of something. When you can chat with other people about it, gain their perspectives, it usually can solidify some of the takeaways for us when we've had opportunity to engage in it in a variety of ways.
Absolutely. So without further ado, let's get into our 4 books for the summer.
Yes.
Summer.
And what is this tried and true tested scientific method of picking out 4 books, Jen?
I forgot to mention our scientific method. So our 4 books, this is the method that we use to choose them. something older than 5 years, something newer than 1 year, something borrowed from our listeners, a recommendation we got from our listeners, and something with a blue cover. And that's
so
it.
good.
That's how we choose them.
It's how we have done all of the rest of our Frugal Friends Book Club episodes. And it's also how people ensure they're going to have a long marriage beginning on their wedding day with what they wear.
Yes.
So clearly, tried and true.
Tried and true. Yeah, we see no fault. So this first one is something older than 5 years. And it is The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. The full title is The Soul of Money, Transforming Your Relationship with Money and Life. And I have personally read half of this book, and the half I read was pretty good. I will be honest and say I did not finish it, but I did like it. So the synopsis of this one is that this liberating book shows us that examining our attitudes towards money, earning it, spending it, giving it away, offers surprising insight into our lives. So through personal stories and practical advice, Lynn Twist asks us to discover our relationship with money, understand how we use it, and by assessing our core human values, align our relationship with it to our desired goals. In doing so, we can transform our lives. And that sounds suspiciously similar to what we're doing here.
Yeah. So we think that's a good idea.
Yes.
I like starting here too. Not that we're not recommending these books in any particular order, but I am glad that this is the first one we're recommending, the something older than 5 years, because so often we can't shift or change behaviors until we understand some of the deeper roots of what's our own personal blueprint for how we make money decisions. What have we learned from our childhood years? What do we believe about money? Like, we have a relationship with money that impacts our life. And so we're not actually going to be able to see real changes in the areas that we want to see them unless we've dug a little deeper. So I think, and I also love that there's so many books on finances, but from so many different perspectives, and they can come together as this chorus of really helpful, useful, tangible tips. So if this is not something you've ever explored before, and maybe because it's scary or maybe because you just don't know where to start, then start here. Start with a book about how to identify the relationship that you have with money, and then go from there on actually looking at changing some of your behavior patterns and actually implementing some of the other tips that might be talked about in other books.
Yeah. I love, there's this top review on the book on Amazon, and it kind of breaks down the goal of the book. So it combines this analytical, it's what we call like the math. It brings the math brain along with the feeling and emotional brain. And it brings those two together on this topic. And this is this person uses a lot of big words, but I think we'll stick to using like the math brain and the emotional brain, and it brings the two together. And where some people with more of the proclivity to focus on the math can find it almost beneath them to focus on the emotional.
Yeah.
Bringing that person to understanding and valuing the emotional. And then on the other part, the emotional feeling-based brain to come into line with the math. So if you have a spouse or a partner or someone in your life that may not understand where you're coming at with your relationship with money, this could be a good read to kind of combine the two. I won't say their brains or personality types, because we all have both, but at least relationships with money, because our relationship with money is typically dominated by one or the other.
Yeah. Again, I think it's worthwhile to go through books like this with others, like you've mentioned, Jen, with a spouse or with a friend. I think when we're digging deeper, it can really especially help to be able to talk it through. So I love the idea of a book club, specifically around a book like this that has some of those deeper soul-searching explorations.
Yeah, and this does make me want to finish the book. I liked it enough in the first half towards like one of those where it's like, I'm not learning anything new. I agree with everything. I'm kind of bored. So if you've been doing this, if you've been hosting a frugality podcast for 5 years, maybe you won't finish it either.
But sometimes when thoughts or ideas are affirmed, it can help us feel solidified in our value system and belief system. It's still important to get outside of that and hear what others are saying, not just be an echo chamber, but sometimes it can be helpful to remind ourselves of why we're choosing a certain direction, why we're living a certain way, and gain another person's perspective on it.
And Brene Brown even wrote
I noticed that.
an affirmation. What are these things called?
A recommendation.
Affirmation.
She wrote an affirmation. She probably did that too.
Brene thinks it's a life-changing read with warmth, honesty, and storytelling. Lynn turns everything we think we know about money upside down. It's the book we all need right now.
Amazing. All right. Then the next book, something newer than 1 year. So this one came out real recently. It's called Catching Up to Crypto, Your Guide to Bitcoin and the New Digital Economy by Ben Armstrong. And vulnerability round, we're not even there yet. I've not read this.
Neither have I.
This is an aspirational item on the book list. Like we would want to explore this as well. I'll give the synopsis. Then we can talk about.
And then I'll talk about why I added it.
Okay. So the synopsis is, in Catching Up to Crypto, Your Guide to Bitcoin and the New Digital Economy, celebrated crypto and Bitcoin expert Ben Armstrong delivers an exciting and fresh new exploration of Bitcoin and digital currencies. He explains what Bitcoin is, how it works, and how and why we're all transitioning to a digital economy as we speak. He discusses the deficiencies of traditional flat currency, how it's commonly manipulated, and how we can all benefit from the adoption of new digital assets. I also, it gave, even below the synopsis, like when you choose to read more about the book, I like how they continue to describe it, that it is the hands-on and comprehensive introduction to crypto that investors, enthusiasts, the crypto curious, and finance professionals have been waiting for. I think I would qualify myself under the crypto curious. I'm not so sure that this is something that I feel confident in or desirous of, or in any way moving towards wanting to invest in crypto. However, I will say that I think I used to write it off thinking this is going to go away. Like, oh, we don't really have to worry about that. It's not tried and tested and probably not the best use of my time, money, energy. I'm going to stick with the tried and true, which is still true for me. But as there is more conversation about cryptocurrencies and it is not going away, I think I would want to intersect with this book from a learning perspective. I think anytime something is around for a while, I want to know a little bit about it. I think it can be okay to push it to the side for a bit, but then when it starts to become more mainstream conversation, I don't want to be living under a rock or completely ignorant to what it all is, and to be able to speak somewhat confidently about it, to be able to make my own decisions on what do I want to do with my money? Does this seem like a wise decision for me? And I'm not going to be able to do that if I don't know anything about it. So for me, that would be the reason for intersecting with this book. But Jen, why did you pick it?
So I think that the technology behind cryptocurrency is something that people should start understanding, because I think that is what's going to be important in finance moving forward. People often are recommending that you have and this is just a general recommendation. This was far before cryptocurrency came into whatever, but whatever the percentage of a currency is moving through like the marketplace is about the percentage that you should have of it in your portfolio. So that's a more sophisticated portfolio strategy. And Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, is making up about 1% of the currency moving through the marketplace. So if your partner has cryptocurrency, if it's just 1% of your, total net worth, that's totally fine. That's great. So it's not so much of a, we're going to start doing crypto episodes and be crypto fans. Neither of us personally owns cryptocurrency that we know of.
Yeah. I've not told you I've got a second life.
Oh, no.
It's social work and crypto.
Yeah. I mean, we're in all market, all equity funds and, in Vanguard. So they could have crypto in them. So I don't want to say we don't have any cryptocurrency, but I think more important than crypto bros is understanding the blockchain technology and understanding what that means for the regulation of money. Because I think we, as consumers, we don't pay a lot of attention to the economy that doesn't apply to us in the current season. But when we look back in hindsight, there are definitely times where you're like, I wish I had known about that earlier. Yeah. It would have saved me some pain or heartache.
When the IRS is interested in your Bitcoin, then maybe it's time to learn more.
So I liked this one. I'm not fully familiar with the author, but I did do some background research, and I wanted to find a crypto book that was not written by somebody who is very adamant that crypto is everything.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I felt like this person did that. And I felt like a lot of the reviews on the book also said that it wasn't a pushy crypto is everything, crypto is the whole future kind of book, but that it was a brief overview, talk to me like I'm a kindergartner sort of explainer.
That was my impression too, as I read through the synopsis and even looked through some of the reviews, is it's a really helpful resource for just learning. You don't have to pick up this book with the intention of, now I'm getting into crypto. Yeah. It could be, I want to know more about this topic, and this could give a really high level overview of it and help you feel more equipped with knowledge.
Or even you don't have to pick it up looking to agree with everything the author says, because he does have some of his own opinions and you don't personally have to agree. I think being educated, if you're kind of looking for something, if you've read the Save Money, Earn Money, Side Hustle, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom books, and you're looking for a personal finance book that's a little different, that's why we added this one. It's a little different. I think it'll give you some good introduction into cryptocurrency, decentralization, trustless commerce, and cryptographic consensus.
Whoa, that sounds spicy.
Yes. So, it might be a fun read.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So, buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So, how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic. oracle.com/strategic.
We know New Year's resolutions often don't stick. In fact, on average, they last around 30 days. So if saving money is on your 2024 resolution list, here's a foolproof way to stick to yours.
Switch your phone provider to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month.
For those of you paying close to $40 a month for just one phone line, this means a savings of $300 over the course of the year. We especially like Mint because all plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/frugal. That's mintmobile.com/frugal. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/frugal. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Next, something borrowed from our listeners. And it didn't really have to be borrowed because I would have recommended this one myself, ourselves, but we're glad to have borrowed it from you. It's Clever Girl Finance, the Side Hustle Guide. Build a successful side hustle and increase your income by Bola Sukunbi. And we've had Bola on the show. She is fantastic. She has 4 books out. Yeah, she is the author.
She's just cranking
many
them out.
books. Yes, 3 are in the Clever Girl Finance series, which is her website, and then one, her most recent, is just kind of like an almost autobiographical kind of about her prospering, like her come up, her glow up. So she is fantastic, but you guys are always asking us about side hustles. For our, this is, I don't know if I told you this still. For our 5th anniversary episode, we asked our listeners on Instagram for like personal questions about us or the podcast, because we thought that would be fun to like give behind the scenes. And some of the questions were too personal.
Some of you went
most of them
real
were
deep.
great, and we used most of the great ones. Some of them were too personal, and then others were like, "What's the best side hustle that's worth the time?" And I was like, "That's not." Half of you don't care about us,
which is fine. We knew that.
Yeah. So, if you want to know what side hustles are worth the time, we definitely have a ton of side hustle episodes. We have a whole frugal side hustle series where we bring someone on every other month,
Interviewing people about their side hustle. Yeah.
But this is a supplemental book that really will tell you the side hustles, how to grow a side hustle to be worth your time, how to choose a side hustle. Bola she is an expert on this. And side hustles they're a debated topic nowadays. The fact that some people have to use side hustles just to make ends meet isn't always preferable. We would always like it to just be supplement for reaching a financial goal faster, always a means to an end. But if you are in the period of life where you want to use a side hustle, this book will definitely tell you how to achieve financial prosperity by leveraging a side hustle to increase your income and build wealth. And I think side hustles are also great for if you're in a job that you're not sure you want to be in long term. Not that you like hate your job and definitely don't want to be there, but if you think, I might want to work for myself, like I think I might want to do my own thing, much smarter to start a side hustle and find that out while you're still being paid by someone than to quit your job, go into debt, and realize I hate being my own boss, because it happens so frequently.
Side hustles have been a huge help for me, but like you're saying, hopefully not where we have to set up camp long term, but can also be a great way to determine maybe something that can become your main hustle. I think that for me was a big reason for starting all my various side hustles, was hoping that it would eclipse the other thing and become what I could do, but not take up a ton of space for me while working maybe a full-time job. But Bola is an expert on this topic and talks eloquently about it and writes about it. So if this is something you're considering or you're already in it, there's so many tips for you to get from her. So
yeah, and definitely go back and check our Frugal Side Hustle series, because we choose those side hustles based on, are they low cost to start? And is there potential for this to become a full-time? Like, not that it has to be, but there's potential for it to be part-time and or full-time. So we're pretty picky in the side hustles that we showcase. So that'll be a great supplement if you read this book to give you some ideas on how to execute the information in it.
And last but not least, something blue. Or should I say something with a blue cover?
And I'll put a caveat to this. The actual background cover is white, but everything on top of it is blue.
Yeah, it counts when I look at it. I would say like blue is what stands out to me.
Yes.
But what would we have done if it wasn't blue? Because we're still going to recommend this.
We would have moved it somewhere else. We would have kicked out crypto.
So true.
We would have kicked out crypto.
And it is Money Made Easy, How to Budget, Pay Off Debt, and Save Money by Allison Baggerly. And I'm just going to jump to the reason why we picked it. And that is because of Allison, but also because this is an incredible book. You know how big of fans of Allison Baggerly we are. And here we go. Here's the synopsis. In Money Made Easy, How to Budget, Pay Off Debt, and Save Money, renowned blogger, podcaster, speaker, and founder of Inspired Budget, Allison Baggerly delivers a powerful and effective blueprint to saving, budgeting, and investing your way to a brighter financial future. You'll discover saving, income, business, and debt reduction tips as you identify your quote-unquote money pattern and break bad habits. And this just sounds completely right up our alley too. So if you just want a handbook, I love how she used the word blueprint to describe what this book is about as a supplement to this podcast, to your own kind of financial planning and personal finance. This kind of encompasses all of the things. And it says it in its subtitle, right? Budgeting, paying off debt, saving money. And something Allison is known for is blending her own teaching background with personal finance. She's phenomenal at both. And so she has created so many templates, which are included with the book. So giving really tangible tips to take away with you and something that you can read and begin implementing right away, which I love. I love the thinking deeper, certainly, and identifying my relationship with money and like doing all the emotional, mental hard work. But oh my, do I also just love someone who gives me a template and tells me what should I do next and how can I tailor that to my personal situation. And so Allison just kind of gives everything that we need all in one place. So highly recommend this one. Allison's great. Can I tell them? Or is that a secret?
You can tell them, yeah.
I also think Allison's great because she's going to be my stand-in co-host when Jen's out on maternity leave, which happened the last time Jen gave birth. So it's like old hat for us. But you'll hear more from Allison on the show in just a few weeks. She'll be a stand-in co-host, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about her book a bit.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I've been like on the other side of the screen for, over a year as Allison has written this book and has really put hours and hours of effort. Many people will not know this because I did not know this until last year, that 80% of books are ghostwritten. So 80% of the books that you read, especially by people with big names, are ghostwritten. Meaning they are not written by the person whose name is on the cover. And Allison wrote her book. It is in her voice. It is all her. So if you love her on Instagram, you will love this book. And we try to include just a basic personal finance book with every book club. I think last time it was Ramit Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. So this time around, this season, it is Money Made Easy. And I am very excited for you all to read this book, especially if you're looking for something that's just general, basic. If maybe you're new to the show and you don't want to dive into crypto right now. If you're like not ready to dive into like turning a side hustle into a wealth generating vehicle, if you're looking for something that's a little broader than that, then this is the book on the list for you. And
I love the final sentence. Money Made Easy takes the mystery and jargon out of personal finance and offers you the guidance you need to transform your money once and for all. And that's just what I want to see in the personal finance space, is taking the mystery and jargon out of it so that it can be approachable and we can feel confident in the decisions that we're making. And Allison is a friendly face and voice in this space to be able to do that, break it down in a really understandable, digestible way. Yeah.
And she has so much empathy for people from all income backgrounds. And her and her husband were both teachers when they paid off over $100,000 of debt. So they know what it's like to not be making six figures and trying to pay off six figures of debt. So she has a lot of empathy, and that makes the book really relatable. It's got checklists, templates, stuff for, balancing your credit card debt and getting through that. So yeah, and she's not like a super extreme frugal person who is like give up everything to pay off your debt. She likes to spend money. When we are together, she is the one that wants to spend the money. But I will follow. She knows how to have a good time, and I will follow, and I will have that good time with her.
But she does give good advice.
Absolutely.
It's not frivolous.
She gives it out of experience. Like, she gives it out of knowing what it's like to be a teacher, paying off debt, who also loves Target and Starbucks. And
I cannot get on board with those two things. So
I know.
Love Allison, but there might be a little tension.
Jill cannot get on board with teachers.
No, Target and Starbucks, for the record. I realize I have an unpopular opinion.
Yes. But spoiler alert, and you should ask Allison about this when she comes on, is about her current feelings about Target's clothing now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love a hot take.
Yeah. She'll have a hot take for you. All right. So let's just recap these books before we go on. We've got 4 of them for you. Let's count them down. 1, The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. If you are looking for kind of more in the psychology range, more in the mental, emotional, that sort of thing, relationship with money, this is going to be the book for you this summer. 2, Catching Up to Crypto by Ben Armstrong. If you are kind of tired of all the other personal finance books out there, but you want to learn more, this is going to be the book for you this summer. 3, Clever Girl Finance, The Side Hustle Guide by Bola Sokunbi. If you want to start a side hustle this summer, but you don't want to just do Instacart or Uber Eats or something like that, you want it to be worth your time and potentially allow you to leave your current career, but not necessarily, this is a book for you this summer. 4, Money Made Easy by Allison Baggerly. If you are looking for a broad overview of personal finance, something you can sink your teeth into and really hold on to as your money patterns, your stuff like that.
And more stuff.
This is the book for you.
It's a frugal girl summer.
Frugal girl
You can
summer.
get all these books on
Amazon.
On Amazon.
On
Hopefully at the
JeffBezos.com.
library.
Some of them will be. Definitely the Lynn Twist one.
Right.
So, Frugal Girl Summer.
You know what else is a part that I want to be a part of my frugal girl summer?
That should be every week.
But it's also a part of my winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall.
That's all you can sing. The Bill of the Week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. Thought I would hop in here for the Bill of the Week. Since I've started listening to you guys, I've made a ton of really great changes in my financial life and have really been building financial health, which is super exciting. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to share as well that I have been negotiating a little bit and working on adjusting bills that I thought I wasn't able to adjust before. So one example of that is recently I had a subscription for a service that I realized I didn't need anymore. And I meant to cancel it before it renewed the following month because it was a monthly bill and I forgot. So instead of kind of wallowing that and letting it be, I actually reached out to the company, explained that I just meant to cancel it. I won't be using it for the month that I had just paid for, and asked if there was anything they could do. And within like 30 seconds, they refunded it to me. I never would have thought to do that before listening to you guys. Never would have had that confidence or thought that anyone would help that way. So thank you. Thank you.
Acacia, I'm so glad that you were able to have A, the confidence, and B, you don't know what you don't know. And so you know it now and you tried it.
Well, that's the thing, how knowledge can give us confidence. Knowing and learning and hearing from others, their stories of what worked and what didn't can help us feel more confident to do things like this. And I also just want to comment on your phrase, building financial health. I just love that terminology. And I'm so glad that you're in this entire journey. And this is just one aspect and one example of how you're working towards financial health and feeling more confident. And what a great tip, because I think so often this can happen for people is they forget about a subscription or they accidentally pay for something or they purchase something on a whim and then realize I don't actually want that anymore. But it just seems easier to let it go than to get that money back, that hard-earned money back. And yes, this is often the case. Like we accidentally pay for a subscription. We don't plan on using it. We can call, we can ask. The worst thing a company will typically do is give you like a prorated amount back. I've never had it where they say, no, we can't refund you anything. So it's worth calling. It's worth asking. And I'm so thrilled to hear the confidence that you experienced inside yourself to do it. That's my biggest takeaway from your bill. Well, if you all listening have a bill that you want to submit, if it has anything to do with building your confidence or building your financial health. Whoa. I never put that together. That like play on words.
Yeah.
Building.
Financial health, mental wealth.
Just if you are building something or you are a bill.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anything
or
if you're
just,
building.
Just bill. Be a bill. Leave us a bill. frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. We are so excited for it.
If you know Bill Curtis.
Hi, I'm Martine Hackett, and I'm hosting the second season of Untold Stories, Life with a Severe Autoimmune Condition, a production from Ruby Studio in partnership with Argenix. Sharing real stories of MG, CIDP, and other autoimmune conditions, we hope to share inspiration and educate the larger community about these severe and often overlooked conditions.
I can't fix this. I can't cure this. And, I'll take my treatment day by day, but I want to try to be engaged, be involved, or be as helpful as I feel I can with the limitations I have of working full time to children. So I participate in market research to provide information to hopefully benefit others, because it's a small margin of people that have the myasthenia, but then to get pregnant, it's an even more narrow margin. And you can't ever have too much information as an epidemiologist.
Yeah, exactly right. Listen to Untold Stories, Life with a Severe Autoimmune Condition on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
I am so pregnant, Jill. Please forgive
this is
me.
the last episode we're recording before Jen gives birth to a baby. So here we are. This is vulnerability at its finest.
So sorry.
All right, Jen, I'm going to ask you the question. You answer first. Okay. Are there questions you ask yourself after finishing a book to reflect or better understand / absorb what you read?
I ask myself a lot of questions while I'm reading the book.
Say more.
So the last nonfiction book I read was from our last book club, is The Lazy Genius. So I think we put The Lazy Genius Kitchen on it, but I just read The Lazy Genius Way. I have not made it to kitchen yet. So she prompted a lot of questions throughout the book. And I think nonfiction books do that. So by the end of it, I'm kind of like thinking, okay, what's my one takeaway? Because I don't want to have 10 takeaways from a book. I just want to have one so that I actually start acting on it. So that would be with nonfiction. With fiction, I will also ask myself questions throughout the book, but for different reasons. Like, why is this happening? What was the author trying to do? Yeah, no, it's not about me. It's like, what is going on? What is the point of this? Because there's always some kind of foreshadowing that's in there, and you don't realize it's foreshadowing or forward casting or whatever the term is until something has already happened. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's why that happened. So I'm always asking myself, is this important? I just tried. And I did not get through I got maybe through the first chapter of the Colleen Hoover book, It Ends With Us, which is this big New York Times bestseller. I got through the first chapter and I'm like, what is the point of this book if this is the first chapter? And so
are you going to get us canceled with this question?
No, no, I don't think so. I just didn't get it. It didn't pull me in. And I'm not usually one to quit after one chapter. If it's like a sitcom. If the first episode, if the pilot isn't the best, I'll give the second episode a chance.
Sure. Yeah.
I got into the second chapter of this book and I was like, it hasn't gotten better. And maybe I'm just a little outside my genre. There's been some death, but no murder.
And that's the thing that really
But I don't
keeps
always
you.
need murder. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Tell me if I'm missing something.
I won't be able to tell you.
Right, no, not you, Jill, but you listening. Tell me if I've missed something, if I should go on when it gets good. or if maybe I should try a different book.
Do you read a lot of fiction?
Yeah. I listen to audiobooks. I'm an audiobook girl.
Yeah, we know this.
Yes. I
you
love
listen
audio.
to a lot of fiction.
Yeah. So I'm always trying new things. I forget. I think, well, I'm not like 20 books a year. I'm like maybe 6 books a year is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 1 book every other month.
Good for you.
So
is that blended in? Okay, this is my question. The first question was Goldie's question, and she's great. And now here's mine. Do you blend fiction and nonfiction at the same time? Do you go every other, complete a book, keep going? How do you work it? What's your strategy?
I don't do 2 books at a time. I can't. I do not love books that much to where I'm like, I've got 3 books going at a time. I'm more of a like complete one, move on to the next kind of girl. And I think I don't do it on purpose where I go every other, but I will interchange them like every other, but maybe not, religiously.
How do you decide I deserve fiction now?
I don't know. It's mostly just like I got a recommendation off of like Bookstagram.
Because to me, fiction does feel like a luxury. Like I have to earn that. And I never have. I've never earned fiction. I can't tell you. I think the last time I read a fiction book, I was in middle school. There's just so many other things to read and learn before I can let myself engage in something like that.
I don't know. So the reason I'm not like doing fiction books all the time is because I'm listening to podcast series.
Right.
Too. So I interchange. So like I'm always listening to something. It's just not always a book. Sometimes it's a podcast series. So when I gave up on the Colleen Hoover book, I started, what is it? From Tenderfoot. It is Undetermined. So this is a murder mystery series. You
do love those.
Just started that.
Not just death, murder too.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And then before that, I listened to one on a potential cult leader. I think we talked about this in our 5th anniversary special. The guy who, I think Rumi or something, who was maybe a cult leader, but it's debatable, right? I love those, the ones that end ambiguously. So, yeah. It was my like turn to do an audiobook between podcasts, but I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
So yeah. Jill.
So the original question, are there questions you ask yourself after finishing a book to reflect or better understand what you just read? And I would agree with what you've said, Jen. I will ask myself, what is my one takeaway from this book? Because I don't want to walk away with many things, but I also don't want to walk away with nothing. So what is going to stay embedded with me? But I will also ask myself, if someone were to ask me to give a synopsis of this book, what would I say? I think that's another kind of go-to internal question I ask myself. Like, how would I define the book? What would I say about it?
Yeah, that's how you know. That's a test of really knowing something is, can you distill it down into like a 1-sentence synopsis? It's a really good test.
Usually it's like 3 sentences for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not great at tests. I'm better at papers.
Good.
And that's why I went into social work.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening. We hope that you are inspired to add a book to your summer reading list. Hopefully nonfiction, but maybe fiction as well. Maybe you want to give the Colleen Hoover book a try. Who knows? But many of you know we have a membership for our listeners who are paying off debt, where we do monthly money challenges, offer accountability groups, and we even go through these books inside the membership. Not all of them, but our members will kind of vote on which ones they want to read. And then those are the ones they'll read together. So we want to congratulate one of our members for a big win. This comes from Jocelyn. She says, freaking pets. Can't live with them, can't live without them. I was paying $30 to $38 a month for pet insurance the last 5 years and didn't need it until last year for massive dental cleaning and 7 teeth extracted. My premium jumped up to $72 monthly. I just called to renegotiate it a couple weeks ago and got it back down to around $40, but limited the coverage. Considered canceling it altogether, but was pretty sure something crazy would happen once I canceled.
Jocelyn, well
Yes.
done. Again, with the negotiating. You don't know unless you ask. And sometimes these companies just make decisions hoping you're not paying attention, but not our Frugal Friends listeners and club members. You all are paying attention. And good for you for keeping it, because clearly it's needed. And anyone who I've talked to who has been able to secure pet insurance has really loved it, because those circumstances arise. And if you don't have it, you are paying out of pocket. So glad you got it back down to a reasonable monthly amount and that you were able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, great job. So thank you for listening. If you want to check out our membership, where we have tons of members just calling in to quote unquote negotiate. Sometimes it's just asking questions and explaining. It doesn't have to be this boardroom kind of back and forth thing that sometimes people think it is. So if you want to learn how to do that, then check out frugalfriendspodcast.com/club. We've got courses, interviews, challenges, and more. And we would love to see you in there.
See you next time.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani.
I also did this recently too. Are you still recording?
Yeah.
I can talk about it. I prepaid. Okay. I got a service done. And then they were offering this package deal where you could prepay for future services.
So cryptic. Go on.
And then, but they were only offering the deal there. If you were to purchase it right then and there,
of course,
you couldn't get that same deal if you were to decide later on that you wanted it and think about it. Yeah. And usually I'm very good at being like, no, thank you. But with this particular service, I was like, that might be really helpful. And this sounds like a good deal. Your face. I'm not going to look at you while I tell this story. So
I wish I knew
it.
what the service was. I wish.
Fill in the blank. Let your mind run wild. And then I discovered that I did not like the results of this service. After I paid for it one time, then prepaid for the package that was to come, that I could take advantage of. But then I realized that the one service I did get, I did not like the results of it. But oh no, I've already prepaid. And I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that just thought, I don't feel like going back to this person and asking for my money back. I might just let it sit. Or maybe I will go back to them and get the services, even though I'm not super pleased with it because I already paid all this money. And it's a person who's running a small business and I don't want to ask for my money back from this small business owner. But then I realized I have legitimate reason to ask for this back. I was not pleased with the service that I got. I'm not asking for a refund on what I've already taken advantage of, but I don't want to utilize what I've already prepaid for. So I sent an email, ended up even talking with the person on the phone because they're a small business owner. They wanted to know if they could have improved anything or if there's any way to keep me. And it ended up being a super kind conversation, but they did refund my money. And now I feel so relieved. And lessons continuously learned, even after 5 years of this podcast, even if it was something that, okay, I will probably pay for this service again in the future, not from them. So it was a decent idea to get a prepaid package at a discounted rate. But what I didn't consider in that moment was, let me see how I like the service that I've received, because there's, to give time, whether you're talking a haircut or nails or whatever, any other type of service that you might get, give it time to think. It is okay. It is not worth like the little bit of extra money you might save to put space in between a big decision like that, prepaying for a package in the moment where there's this sense of urgency. So note to self, even if it's something that I think I'm going to engage in, to give it time to see, but do I like what I've already received?
Mm-hmm. And then it's still going to be worth what you're paying for it, even if you pay a little more for it.
That's so true.
With the best all-inclusive vacation deals to Mexico and the Caribbean, booking your getaway with Cheap Caribbean Vacations means you have more freedom to do your deal. Whether you want to enjoy snorkeling, endless margaritas, and more, or simply soak up the sun and sand in a tropical paradise, Cheap Caribbean Vacations has your deal for that. Plan and book the exact getaway you want at exactly the right price for you by using our exclusive budget Beach Finder, or find a featured all-inclusive package to Iberostar Hotels and Resorts and do your deal at cheapcaribbean.com.
Bring home Napoleon.
Destiny has brought me here.
The action epic from acclaimed director Ridley Scott.
What is your name?
Napoleon. You are the greatest leader in the history of the world.
Witness the rise.
You are nothing without me.
Of the legend. Starring Academy Award winner Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby.
I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Napoleon. Buy or rent on digital now. Rated R.